We have a very informative evening for you tonight. Our goal has always been to be a one-stop shop for all of our Parma families. And so that means whether you need an intervention in terms of a learning disability or whether you need some challenge in terms of a gifted level of performance that we want to be able to take to a higher level, we want to be able to meet that need for you as a child and you as a family so that when you leave our Parma City Schools, you can look back and know that you are absolutely at the highest level of achievement that you possibly could have been. And so tonight, all of the information you're going to see is really about how we plan to accomplish that. Many of you are already immersed in those programs, and so some of this information may be redundant, but I think it's still important to see the big picture. And then some of you are here to kick off what we are really excited about, which is a new program called Parma Academy of Gifted Enrichment, and that is sort of an acronym of PAGE. Can you raise your hand if you're here for PAGE, just so we get a decent feel for it? So a good, at least about half of you, and so we're really excited to have your interest because this is really a startup program, but one that we really hope will be a very valuable addition to the range of services that we provide here in our Parma schools. I will talk to you a little bit later, those who stay for the PAGE breakout, but at this time, I would like to introduce Dr. Stropko. She is our assistant superintendent.
Good evening. Thank you for coming. It's so exciting to see all of our families here. So just so I know who our audience is, how many of you are here for the elementary level? If you could raise your hand. How many of you are here for middle school and high school? Okay, awesome. So we are going to start with an overview of our services, but I want to quickly just let you know what you received when you walked in. So we have a pamphlet for our gifted services at each level. Our pink document with the QR code, or it's a little index card. If you use your phone, you will have access to all of our presentation materials and resources. You will also have access to our lead gifted teacher, Tiffany Buchanan, who is instrumental in working through this continuum of gifted services. And lastly, you have a book in which it will help you as a parent, regardless of your level, to help support your child. So I am always excited when we talk education, and this is who we are. So I'm Tiffany Stropko, I'm the assistant superintendent. We have Tiffany Buchanan, our lead gifted teacher. She's over here. We have Amy Zermatt is running around somewhere. She's our administrative specialist for initiative implementation. And Marion Armstrong will talk about our high school continuum and what it's like as a parent and how to support your child. Even if you have an elementary child with you right now, it is always so important to understand where your child begins and where they end. Speaking as a parent myself, I have an 8th grader and a 6th grader, and I cannot believe that I will have a high school student next year. It goes by so fast. So our district goals, I am always concerned about student achievement, and I have a celebration I would like to share in terms of our gifted population. Improving transparency, this is tonight, this is this evening, giving you information, the ability for you to ask questions. After we have our whole group, if you're middle school or high school, you will have an opportunity to meet some of our AP honors teachers and ask specific questions for different content areas, because some of our students are often identified gifted in a specific content area. And practice fiscal responsibility. We always review our district goals. Here's our report card from the 2022 school year. Our gifted value added grade was 4 stars. We had 688 students accelerated, and we had less than 10 in whole grade acceleration, and we met our gifted services. And you will see here in the pie chart, I know if you're sitting in the back, it's a little bit harder to see, but that bright green pie, the largest piece of it, is that of our identified kids, our students are scoring at the highest levels in our OST test. So our kids are outperforming and they continue to grow, and that's a celebration. We are going to talk about overall our gifted and talented services, our honors courses, which begin in middle school and continue through high school, our advanced placement courses, where students at the high school level can receive college credit. We're going to talk about our STEM program, which is housed at Pleasant Valley Elementary and Greenbrier Middle School. And then we will talk about our PAGE program, which will begin the 23-24 school year, called the Parma Academy of Gifted and Enrichment. So I am going to show you a quick video that was made here in Parma that highlights our gifted program, and then I will turn it over to our lead teacher.
To participate in our gifted program, students must qualify based on our whole grade screening process, which begins in the 2nd grade. 3 times a year, students are given the MAP test in grades 2 through 7, and in 2nd grade and 5th grade, students take the COGAT, which can also be a gifted qualifying assessment. So the benefits of the gifted program are that students can really have their social, emotional, and learning needs met by teachers who really understand gifted students, and they really know their needs and can really push them to the next level throughout enrichment, through project-based learning, discussions, very specialized instruction that allows them to really meet their individual needs and to really reach the next level in learning.
A lot of the honors courses and the AP courses I took were a result of me kind of not feeling challenged enough in regular courses. So I started taking the honors courses and the AP courses, and it actually challenged me and helped me learn more at the level that I was ready to learn at.
Most of the kids that want to take this, they want that challenge. They want to be pushed. They don't like to be bored. They get college credit for the AP courses. I know mine many times has been said that it's an upper level college course, the stuff that they're learning.
I think the benefits for a student taking an AP honors class in high school is that you have that one-on-one instruction, you have the smaller class sizes, you have the longer time to delve into things. In addition, you have the support system of a high school that you're not going to get in a college.
I personally believe that being pushed is a lot better than just coasting along, and it's better to prepare yourself for the future than just figure it out when you're in that moment.
There are a lot of other really good courses here available in the Parma City schools. There's a lot of interesting classes other than the AP classes, but the AP classes, you really have to be committed to that extra work and being organized. And I think a lot of the key is, are you willing to learn about how to study and learn how to develop good habits?
Students can expect to be challenged. And yes, they may have more work, but it's also a way of thinking. It is connecting different texts. It is connecting to different classes and connecting to events. So it becomes layers of learning where students are doing more work sometimes, but also thinking more deeply about what they're learning.
I think I'm benefiting from just allowing my writing to be better and learning things I've never even heard of before. Like, I've never even heard of rhetorical devices, but now I'm learning so much about it and I'm being able to master it eventually.
I really wanted to get ahead of my game. As you know, AP honors classes, they're for college credit, but along with the college credit, I just wanted to, especially with this class, I wanted to expand my writing because I want to go into a writing field in college. I just want to be prepared, and I just wanted to get to where I needed to be right now instead of having to catch up later in college. It's difficult to get used to, but once you're there, it just becomes natural and you just want to learn more.
Parma Academy of Gifted Enrichment, or PAGE, is our new gifted program that we're opening next school year. PAGE provides all-day gifted services for students entering the 3rd and 4th grade. The inquiry-based curriculum at PAGE focuses on higher-level thinking skills, advanced content, and cross-curricular units that really will push our gifted students to excel. Families that are interested in applying for PAGE must fill out our application that is located on our website.
All right, at this time, I'm going to bring up Mrs. Tiffany Buchanan to continue our presentation.
Hello, I'm so happy to see so many people here tonight. So we're going to talk about our K-12 gifted continuum so that everybody has a nice overview of all of the services that we offer for our students in the entire district. So in K-1, we offer early entrance for students that are ready to enter kindergarten early. But we also, for our students that just need to be pushed a little bit more, we offer classroom differentiation in core, and we also really make sure that we are meeting the needs of our students through our daily PI time. So that's really how we meet the needs of our high achievers in K and 1. In grades 2 through 4, we really start our formal gifted services, and we cluster our students together. So many of you raised your hand and said that you're here because you are the parent of an elementary student. So this would apply to you. So right now, your students are working with other gifted students in the classroom, and then they have weekly enrichment sessions with gifted intervention specialists, which we'll talk more about in a little bit. In grades 5 through 7, we continue the cluster model, and we also begin our honors, math, and English classes in grades 6 through 7. This year, we were really excited to add new courses. We added honors English in 6, 7, and 8, which were courses that we did not have before. So we're always happy anytime that we can expand upon our gifted course offerings for our students. And then we also, in 8 through 12, added formal gifted services, which we didn't have before. So we've always had honors and AP courses, but there are certain requirements that the state of Ohio has us meet in order to count those courses as what we call formal gifted services to report them to the state of Ohio, which we'll touch base on in a few minutes as well. We also revamped our English 9 and 10 courses. So we have pre-AP English 1 honors and pre-AP English 2 honors. And the purpose of revamping those two courses is to really make sure that we're aligning our coursework with the demands of the AP courses. So we do have teachers here tonight that can talk to you about what AP really looks like, and we'll talk about that in our presentation as well. But those courses are really fantastic in preparing our students for the demands of AP. This infographic really explains the services that are available for elementary students next year. We did run out of copies, but we made a few more. So if you need a copy, we'll get you one tonight. You also have that pink card. If you didn't get one, we have more of those as well. But that links you to the presentation. So I see some of you like taking pictures or screenshots. If there's something that you really think you're going to miss, this will be available later based on that QR code and in video as well. So don't worry about missing information. But this infographic shows that next year we are going to have our new Parma Academy of Gifted Enrichment, which we are so excited to offer. We're also going to still offer our current gifted services for those of you that don't want to apply for PAGE or maybe aren't eligible for PAGE. So we're still going to have our traditional gifted services, and then our STEM project-based learning will also still be available as well. So we're going to talk about the difference between these three gifted service settings tonight, because all of the applications are open right now for PAGE and for STEM. Okay, so you're probably wondering, well, what is PAGE? Right? This is a brand new program. We're so excited to offer it. So next year we're starting with 3rd and 4th grade students. And you're probably wondering, well, why 3rd and 4th grade, right? That's a logical question. So we currently begin our identification process in the 2nd grade. That's when we start our whole grade screening for our gifted students. So 3rd grade is the best place for us to start with this model to build our startup program. So we are going to start next year for next year's 3rd grade students and 4th grade students. So if you have current 2nd and 3rd grade students, this would apply to you. We are looking for students who are identified as gifted as superior cognitive, reading, and math. Or if your students are reading or math, if they only have one of those areas, but they're scoring highly in the other area, they would be good candidates as well to apply. PAGE is going to be housed at Parma Park Elementary next year. The application is open now, so you can apply to be accepted to attend. And what is so unique about PAGE is that it's all day, every day. So we have not been able to provide a program like this. So currently, our students meet with our gifted teachers on a weekly basis, which is fantastic. PAGE is all day, every day though. So their teachers in their core classes are licensed gifted intervention specialists. All of their subjects are gifted enrichment subjects then. So that's all of their subjects. They'll be there for lunch, they'll stay at PAGE for recess, they will attend Parma Park all day as their school if they are accepted into Page. Our curriculum is the integrated curriculum model, and that is an inquiry-based learning program. What that means is that we're going to have these daily advanced learning opportunities. We're integrating content across disciplines. So what they learn in math is going to connect with what they learn in science and reading and social studies. They're going to have these nice cross-curricular content so that we can really enrich them, that allows them to learn at an accelerated pace by making those connections a little bit faster. We'll focus on higher order thinking, higher processing, faster processing, and higher products. So Page is really a unique program because, again, it's all day, taught by gifted teachers, and that will be their home school that they will attend all day, every day. So it's a unique opportunity for next year. So we're really excited about it. If you are interested in possibly registering your child for Page for next year, the application is open right now on our website. It's also available by linking the QR code that's on the pink card that everybody has. That will take you to the gifted website from Parma City Schools. So you would fill that out after attending this event so that you kind of have more information about this. And then the review committee would look at all of the applications and you would receive feedback no later than February 15th to let you know if your child has been accepted into Page. But yeah, so that's open today through the 31st. Dr. Stopko, do you want to talk about STEM?
Thank you, Mrs. Buchanan. So we always just include a quick overview of STEM, elementary housed at Pleasant Valley, and our middle school housed at Greenbrier Middle School. And this, I believe, is our 7th or 8th year doing STEM, and it's project-based learning. All of our kids are in a classroom setting. We integrate the curriculum in which we have an essential question. I'll give a kindergarten example. An essential question is, what is unique about that? They are studying letter sound, letter name fluency. They create children's books. They go down to first step and they present their children's book to an authentic audience. So what it is it's a 9-week kind of immersion where all content areas are together. Kids are designing, kids are building, and kids are learning with our curriculum, but a hands-on approach. And so we will continue this at Pleasant Valley next year, and we will also continue this at Greenbrier. Since 8th grade is down at Greenbrier next school year, we will look at registration to see where we're at, and we hope to offer it in 8th grade. We also have a STEM application process, which is open now. It's on our website. And we look at the online application. There is a compact in which the family fills out together, or what we like to call a contract, and we review those, and we let you know if you are a candidate for STEM. And at the kindergarten level, we do a lottery, so we only have so many classrooms, and if we have more than the slots available, then we go based on the lottery piece. And so again, it's that hands-on. We talk about it briefly. A lot of our students that are identified as gifted are often interested in the STEM program. So I'm going to turn it back over to Mrs. Buchanan.
One of the questions that we get most often is what determines if a child is gifted? That's a common question. So in Parma, we choose to utilize the COGAT assessment, and that is what we use to identify if students are gifted in superior cognitive ability. So 2nd grade students take that, and then they take that same assessment again in 5th grade. And that measures their reasoning and their problem-solving skills. It's a computer-based assessment. If the students obtain a high enough score, 128 or higher, then they are deemed as gifted in superior cognitive ability. That same test is also used as our screener for creative thinking. So creative thinking is a 2-part assessment, and if they get a 112 or higher on the COGAT, that is step 1 of the creative thinking process, and then the teachers are prompted to fill out like a creative thinking checklist as the second part of that gifted identification. So if you have a child that's identified as a creative thinker, that would be how that identification came into play. Our NWEA MAP test is the one that you're probably the most familiar with because our students take that 3 times a year in grades 2 through 7, so you probably hear about them talking about that the most often. And that is used to identify our students in math and reading. Our teachers also use that for classroom instruction quite often and to really measure the growth of our students. But that assessment is a standards-based assessment and it's adaptive, so that's fantastic, especially for our high achievers, because the test will keep getting more challenging and keep getting harder. So they're not going to top out. It really shows us how high the kids can go and how challenging of questions they can answer, which is great. So they're given questions based on their previous responses. For that assessment, any score 95th percentile or higher deems them as gifted. So anytime they take those assessments, I pull their scores and you'll receive a letter from me if they meet any of the qualifying scores after. So written education plans, WEPs. We moved to a digital format this year, so you would have received them via email instead of a paper copy this year. These are sent home to any students that are receiving gifted services. So they're updated every year. They describe the services that your students are receiving in school if they have a gifted identified area. They are really specific though to just their identified area. So I get a lot of questions, especially in middle and high school, like, wow, my student's in honors math, but it's not listed on the WEP. They might be taking honors math, but if they're not gifted in math, for example, it won't show up on the WEP. So it's only relevant to their gifted identified areas. So if they're just taking maybe an honors or an AP class, but they're not gifted in that area, it wouldn't be on the WEP. I know it can be a little confusing, but that's kind of the most common question that I do get. And then they are currently sent home in grades 2 through 12 to any students with gifted services being provided to them. So we mentioned earlier that our gifted service plan is the cluster model. And what that means is that we take our gifted students and we look at their identified areas and then we schedule them together with other students of similar abilities and similar gifted identifications so that they have a peer group to work with in class. And that helps the students by having other students to work with in the classroom, and that also helps the teachers plan their instruction. So not every student in the classroom is gifted, but they have a group of students to work with in the classroom with similar identifications and similar abilities. To report our services as gifted services to the state of Ohio, our teachers also receive yearly professional development. And that professional development focuses on the general nature and needs of gifted students, and it also really ties into how to use their curriculum to meet the needs of their gifted learners. So that meets the requirements from the ODE. That is the one thing that we had to really change this year to count our high school services as gifted services. So we added 15 hours of professional development for all of our high school honors and AP math and English teachers. So by adding that additional professional development, we can now count those as gifted services formally, which is also reported on our state report card too. At the elementary level, currently this year, we offer the cluster model where we are scheduling those students together with similar identifications. The teachers are differentiating their instruction daily. We also have pie time, and that is every day where teachers work on any kind of prevention, intervention, or enrichment. So students are often working with students with similar abilities to them, and it may be with a different teacher down the hallway, it may be with their regular teacher, it may be with a different group, depending on how the teachers are differentiating to meet the needs of the kids on that day. And then every week, they have scheduled sessions with our gifted intervention specialists where they really focus on their WEP goals and their identified areas to push them to really exceed. So we take a look in a little more detail here. The differentiation within classroom could be targeted small groups or just targeted instruction within math and ELA based on the student data. So they look at the classroom data, they look at the students' WEP goals and their identified areas to really provide instruction based on what the students need. And then we differentiate for higher level questioning. It could be alternative assignments, advanced concepts and content. And that instruction every day is provided by their core classroom teacher who receives gifted professional development. And then during Pi time, those are flexible groups with targeted instruction based on the student's needs. Pi time is available to all of our students, not just gifted, but that is a place where the gifted students are in the higher groups and also pushed to really excel. And then we have our weekly enrichment and engagement sessions, which are for identified students in grades 2 through 4 with our gifted intervention specialists, Mrs. Morider and Ms. Trainer. So students are pulled out once a week from their regular class and they meet with the gifted teachers to really work on their WEP goals and their identified gifted areas to push them to really increase their achievement. When the students transition to middle school, we still continue with our cluster model to keep them working together with students with similar abilities. But we do add accelerated math in 7th grade. We start honors classes in math and ELA in 6th grade. So that's a really targeted way to meet their needs. And then we utilize adaptive online practice programs, like we have our ALEX program that is new this year, which is a way for the students to really practice math at their own pace, which has been fantastic. So if the student is only in 6th grade, for example, but they are ready for maybe algebra, we can put that student on a program that allows them to work in algebra, for example. So that's been a really fantastic tool for our district this year. In middle school, the teachers continue with their small groups of instruction to really target on the students' needs. We continue to use data to drive that instruction, and the students are still intentionally scheduled into classes with cluster groups with other students. Right now, students are really looking at their schedules for next year, so this is a great time if you have a middle schooler at your house to really talk to their teachers and talk to your students to determine if an honors course would be a good fit for your student. So we do have, again, honors math and ELA beginning in the 6th grade. We do have an honors rubric that we take a look at their MAP scores, their gifted identification, as well as teacher recommendation, grades, and OSTs. And by using that entrance rubric, we can really get a good feel for if a student is ready for honors level coursework. So the teachers take a look at your student's scores at the middle school level to really help your student decide if honors is a good place for them. But if you have a question, your teachers can also help guide you through that process. They're really good at that. At the high school level, gifted services are provided in math and ELA, honors, and AP courses. This is where it is really important for your students to sign up for the right courses because we're not controlling the schedule as much at the high school level, right? Your students have to actually sign up for those courses. So you really want to encourage your students to sign up for higher level courses to push them to excel. So it is a gifted service if their ID aligns with the course that they're taking. So we don't provide gifted services if your student is not taking a higher level course, for example. So if they're just taking like a regular English course and instead honors, for example, that is not a course that we are providing gifted services in right now at the high school level. So you'd want your student to take honors, AP, or a CCP course to receive their gifted services. So we really want to encourage our high achievers to sign up for those courses to really push themselves to be prepared for college. And again, the teachers are receiving their professional development to teach those courses, and your students will receive WEPs if the identification aligns with the coursework that they are signed up to take. If you're not sure which courses would be best for a gifted student, we did provide a list here, just so you know when you're like choosing courses for next year, if you have a high school student, these would be the courses that you would want your students to take if they are gifted to make sure that they are on the right track and that they're really going to, again, push themselves to excel and achieve and to really make sure that they are going to be ready for college. Really, that's the next step, right? So we do see a list of our current ELA courses and math courses that we are counting as gifted services at this time. All right, so Ms. Armstrong is going to share her expertise with us next on what colleges are looking for and the difference between honors and AP coursework.
Welcome, everybody. I'm very excited to see so many of you. And Dr. Stropko was absolutely correct that your child's life goes by in a blink of an eye. I was sitting in your seat not that long ago, and last year in December, we went to commencement for my baby girl's graduation. So it goes by very, very quickly. And I'm very honored tonight to wear two hats because both of my kids went through Parma City Schools, and I was very fortunate to have two very gifted children who went through the honors and AP programs here at Parma Senior High School for our particular time. So I get to talk to you tonight as not only as an educator, but also as a parent to see what our kids go through. So what are our colleges looking for when they're looking at transcripts? Because remember, Ohio State's going to get 10,000 applications, 100,000 applications, and they don't have that many seats. So when we went to high school, I'm going to pretend that you are all as old as I am, they were looking at, thank you, they're looking at GPAs, right? The smartest kids got in first. Well, that is true. We are looking at GPAs, so what you do matters, and kids don't understand that what you do matters all the way along. Because GPA, grade point average, is cumulative. So as soon as you start earning credits for classes, that is what's going to be reflected on the transcript that colleges look for. But not only are they looking at your GPA, they're also looking at what you're taking. So they want to see a rigorous academic course load. My kids, they said, I'm the meanest mom in the whole world because we didn't do study halls in our house. Because electives are meant to figure out what you want to do and what you enjoy doing. My daughter, she had to have a study hall, nothing fit on her schedule, so she volunteered in the special ed classroom in our building, and that's really became a passion of hers, and she's now going to be an occupational therapist working with special needs students. If we did not have that opportunity at Parma City Schools, she would have had no idea. So it's very important that that schedule is used to take classes that the kids can explore their interests. So colleges are also looking for well-rounded students. They're also looking for strong writers and communicators. We offer classes like speech and debate. Kids are always like, I don't want to do speech and debate. It is one of the best classes we have to offer. Kids who like to fight and argue and yell at each other, I'm like, speech and debate, that's for you. You're going to be an attorney. And they learn that. We have reading and writing across the curriculum, so it's very important that your children take a very rigorous academic curriculum, and they're looking for what else did they do. They don't want them just sitting at home doing homework all day. They want them volunteering, they want them doing enrichment programs, they want them doing summer programs, and they want them showing leadership. So we have lots of opportunities at Parma City Schools for all of these things. So AP and honors courses. What is the difference? Why should we take these classes versus regular classes? And I'm going to tell you, there's a big difference between pre-pandemic children and post-pandemic children. And that's the honest to God truth. Our kids really struggle to reach that rigorous academic curriculum. When they stayed at home for a year and a half, they didn't get that whole feeling of being pushed as much as they are able to be pushed. And now coming back, we're trying to get them back into that standard. And many of them are doing, some of them are we're working on it. But AP courses are very important because they do work with higher level thinking skills. And AP courses, advanced placement courses, are actually college level courses taught at the high school. Once the student finishes this course, they will sit for an AP test in May, and based on how they score on that AP test, they could earn college credits. Neither one of my children had to take English in college because our English teacher was so phenomenal that they passed the AP course test with flying colors. Neither one of my children had to take social studies because they passed the government test, the AP US history test, and they had those college credits already with them before they walked out of Parma Senior High School. So these are classes that you start building upon when you walk into Parma City Schools in your kindergarten year. We have an excellent academic program here at Parma City Schools. AP success at the college level. I kind of went ahead a little bit. Students who earn 3 or higher on the test, they will earn credits. My daughter did a combination of AP and honors and CCP, walked out of Parma City Schools with 30 college credits under her belt. Very impressive. My son had about 15. So that translates into dollars, that translates into free time in college, that translates into the ability to take a minor. So these are all things that your counselor can walk you through. Students who take and are successful in AP classes tend to do better in college. Makes sense, right? And they tend to finish college. Colleges are having the same trouble high schools are having. Kids do not finish. They start and they don't finish. Kids in AP classes tend to finish and finish in 4 years, not 5 years, not 6 years. So that in itself translates into money. And then they also, like I've already kind of covered this, it saves you time and money, frees up your schedule, and you're a standout. Remember, they're looking at lots of different transcripts. A lot of times that's their first view of you as a student. And when they look at that strong transcript that has college courses on it already through the high school, you're going to stand above those other students who may not have that. So what does it look like within the classroom? I'll tell you, I loved these AP and honors classes. A lot of them are hands-on. So a lot of kids are like, oh, I don't want to take honors chemistry. I'm afraid of honors chemistry. Honors chemistry was so much fun because it was purely project-based. These kids did experiments all the time, and they had so much fun. So I would highly recommend, as a parent, to push your child to AP and honors classes. Because a lot of times, as a counselor, I'm not going to lie to you, I hear, I don't want to work that hard. Have you guys ever heard that at home? I don't want to work that hard. Or this is hard, Mom, I can't do it. Or this is hard, Dad, I can't do it. Well, our kids can do it. And that's what I love about our AP and honors teachers is they really challenge our kids. They motivate our kids, and they get them to do their best potential. But expect more homework, all right? Expect homework every night. Expect them to use critical thinking. And expect them, maybe they don't get straight A's. That's huge for kids. But I'll tell you, college is going to want to see a B in an AP class versus A in a non-AP class because it shows that they're pushing themselves and they want to meet their highest potential.